Adjunct Head Coach Bryan Harsin will start the statement and take questions.
Okay. First, players of the game. In this last game, we had 2 on defense, Tanner Vallejo and Jonathan Moxie. Offense, Jay Ajayi, 5 touchdowns. Special teams player was Jeremy McNichols. Our O lineman of the game was Mario Yaku. D lineman was Bo Martin. I don't know if you guys saw we had our banquet yesterday. And the reason why we do that home game, parents are already here, makes it more convenient to do that. That's why we do it after the last home game, or have in the past. It worked out well. Our Academic Achievement Award went to Jake Hardy. Our Plow Horse Award, which is the weight room, was Bo Martin. Our Denny Erickson Valor Award was for Jeremy Iowani. Offensive Scout Player of the Year was Richard Smith. Defensive Scout Player of the Year was our 27-year-old Deuce Madelay on scout team, who was playing. Outstanding Defensive Lineman Kamale Correa. Special Teams Scout Player of the Year was Ryan Wolpen. The Hammer Award went to Darren Lee. Outstanding Offensive Lineman Marcus Henry. Defensive Most Valuable Player was Darian Thompson. These awards were voted on by their peers. Offensive Most Valuable Player was Jay Ajayi. Team Most Valuable Player was Grant Hedrick. And then we talked about Matt Miller, all-time receptions leader, and then our 3 captains for the year that were voted, Matt Miller, Corey Bell, and Grant Hedrick. All received awards in that banquet last night. Really proud of our players and coaches to be in the position that we're in. Going back and looking at the Utah State game, played a very good team, a little bit of a team of destiny, with what they've gone through to get to where Utah State was at that time, to be playing for a championship. And, hats off to Coach Wells. He did a tremendous job, especially on the offensive side. Defensively, a very good unit, and our offense played well in the game, and our defense played well, and our special teams came up with another turnover. But really proud of our players and coaches. We talk about being in this position, and we're actually in this position to play for a championship, and that's what you set out to do every single year, every single team. Congratulations to Tim DeRuiter, and Fresno State. Those guys, these are the champions last year. They've made it back into the championship game. I had questions, in a conference call here earlier, about we played, 5 or 6 weeks ago. How does that help you? We're 2 different teams, than we were at that point. We're 2 teams that are playing a whole lot better. We wouldn't be in the position that we're in. So, hats off to Fresno State. I'm glad we have them here at home because those guys are playing well. And, the one thing about this week, this is the first time ever we've had an opportunity to play for a championship in the Mountain West Conference in Albertson Stadium. So we need the place packed. It's the first time, and you don't want to miss it. That's obviously an advantage for us. We're playing in the biggest game of the year. We've had great crowds leading up to this game, and we need that to continue. That's definitely our advantage. And when we talk about, our field, and we talk about our home field advantage, it comes from the people that sit in those seats and bleed blue. So that needs to happen again this Saturday for us to get done. We need to get done. As far as Fresno goes, we talked about their schemes, statistically, where they are. Here's what I see. I see a team that's playing better. I see a team that's gone through ups and downs just like we have, of trying to figure out, some personnel. Some guys have played better. Some guys have played worse. Some guys have stepped up. Overall, they've won the games they've needed to win to get into this position, just like we have. We've had to win our games in our division to get to where we are. They had to win the games in their division they've won to get to where they are. I mean, that's just how it is. So you can take the records and throw those out. We're all playing in the same game. And their team is a very strong football team. We've seen that when we played them here at home. There wasn't a large margin of victory for the Broncos in that game. And we felt like we had played in a very physical football game against a very good team. So that experience, we can draw from that, as far as the type of players we're going to play against. But offensively, they've gotten better. Brian Burrell continues to play better, and he's mentioned that he's playing better, and he is. They did a great job against Hawaii, on their third downs, which is what kept their drives alive. So they're better in those areas. Defensively, it's a 3-4 scheme, and Coach DeRuiter is a defensive guy, so the strength of their team and the mentality of their team, goes through the defense. So they'll be prepared and ready to play. They'll have watched our film, they'll have seen what we've done, and they'll have a plan. They'll be prepared. He does a great job and has, ever since he's been there, of coaching up that defense and getting those guys ready. So for us, we got to go back to work. We talked about it last night. Sunday was a big day for us of watching film and getting ourselves prepped and ready for this week and talking about our plan and what we have to do. And, it's been a 1-0 mentality, and this week it's one more. I mean, that's really what it is. That's what we got. It's one more is the mentality this week. So we talked about that. We put ourselves in this position to have one more, which is what we all hoped we'd be in. And the bottom line is we need to go back and be better than we were against Utah State this game, because it's a bigger game against a team that deservedly should be in this game with us. And so we're excited. We're looking forward to it. Our guys, this is why you want to play college football, why you want to come to Boise State, and because we talk about playing for championships, and here we are. And so really just looking forward to this entire week and getting out to practice on Tuesday and having a great week of prep, and then cutting it loose at 8 o'clock or 8:10, whatever it is, on Saturday night, and ready to go. So with that, open it for questions.
You mentioned Fresno State kind of having to win their games like you guys down the stretch. When they lost to Wyoming, I mean, they lost by 28 points at home. They dropped to 3 and 6, and I mean, just you mentioned the quarterback playing better, but these last 3 games, what else have you seen from them, and just for them to be able to get to this spot? Well,
they've won. That's the one thing. I mean, our side in the Mountain West Conference, our division, if you look at Boise State, Utah State, Colorado State, Air Force, I mean, there's some really good teams. And, we've had to win. Now, the same with them. They've had to win to get into this position, so they've won their games. Now, I'm sure there's, like on both sides, there's things that can be better. They can execute better, and I'm sure their coaches would say that in those games, but they've won. That's the bottom line. And, you go back to a few of our games throughout this season. I mean, you go back to some, I can say the same thing. We won. I mean, there's not a whole lot more to say about that other than we won. And teams go through that. I think our conference is very strong. And, I think our side of the division was very strong this year in particular. And so the way it's set up, you've got to win your side of the division to get to where you are, and they've done that, and we've done that.
2 things. One quick one. Is the milk can on the line this week, or does that get shelved till the next thing?
No, that's out of the picture. Yeah, no, we got that one. We're going to keep. All right, we did. We earned that one in the game, and I'm sure that could get brought up. And I know the dairymen on both sides are going to be really excited about this game again. But no, we're not talking about the milk can. We're talking about the championship. So we'll have a trophy. It'll just be different.
And then there's, obviously more on the line for you guys than just the Mountain West Championship. There's a chance to go play in another big bowl game. How much do you bring that up this week? Do you at all? And how much are your players aware that that's out there?
Well, yeah, every player's got one of these. So they're aware of it. I mean, you can't hide from that. But no, I mean, that's the only thing we know for a fact is that we get to play on Saturday night for a championship. That's the only thing we know. Now, all the speculations of where we could go for a bowl game, that doesn't really matter right now. We're going to go to a bowl game. We know that by our record, no matter what happens. So we know we're going to a bowl game. Which one to be determined. And I think we've done a very good job of concentrating on our opponent. And because of the type of teams we played, I mean, Fresno State, guys would be nuts if they're not focused on this team because these guys have been in a position we've never been in. They've won this before, so we need to obviously take that and go back to what we've done each and every week, and have our prep and work on each and every day and try to get better. And I know it's cliche, but that's really it. That's how we operate. I mean, that's the best way we can operate. Whatever happens after that heck, I don't know. I mean, there's still more games to be played, right, other than us. So this whole thing could blow up when it comes to bowl games. Who knows which one we'd go to when it's all said and done.
You remember the Division I AA playoff days and the need to sell the stadium from scratch week after week. This time it's 1 week, but knowing how difficult that is, what are your realistic expectations of the crowd Saturday night?
Well, hopefully, I'm hoping it's packed. I really am. I don't know. I know you mentioned that. I saw you talked about it last night, selling it from scratch and all that. And I know that's difficult. At the same time, my challenge would be this is the first time we've ever been in this game. We're doing something in Albertson Stadium that's never been done before. And, I hope people want to be a part of that and want to help us, to come out of there with a win. Because I know the pride and what's on the line, if we do take care of business. But we need our crowd to do that. So I think, we've had 34, 35, 36 something, I think, against BYU. My hope would be to beat the record of BYU is what you'd want. But, what we had in this last game against Utah State, I mean, our crowd was strong, and it made a difference, and I could feel it, our players could feel it, and I know Utah State could feel it. And, we need to match that intensity we brought in the stadium and then, add just a little bit more for even a bigger game.
Not to harp on the crowd, but in the second half, especially in these cold weather games, people are like, all right, things are taken care of, I'm out. Do you put any thought into keeping things closer or giving them T-shirts like the Mexico State style and try to keep butts in the seats?
No, I haven't thought about keeping the game closer. I really don't want to do that. It is what it is. I mean, I think this. I can't control that. We go out there and play. We know we have great fans here. We have great support. You love them to go out there and continue to finish watching. But at the same time, it is what it is. We just appreciate they come out there and support us. And I think this game is one that, for the opportunity to play for what we're playing for, you don't want to miss it. And we want to have them out there.
Last week against Utah State, it basically was a playoff game for the Mountain Division. Does this game feel any different is my first question. And the second question, will Fresno State have any kind of advantage having played the game last week?
It feels different. It's the one more. It's the game you actually get. We had Utah State on our schedule guaranteed. We were going to play Utah State no matter what happened. This one was not guaranteed, so it is different. It's a different mentality. When you play in a game like this, which is fun. That's kind of the fun part about playing in championship games at the end of the year. You've been doing pretty close to the same thing every week, and if you have this chance, it's a change, and I think change is good. And as far as Fresno playing in this game, yeah, they've been in this game before. They played for a championship. They've been on this stage. They've been through the schedule, which is not too much different than a normal schedule throughout the week. But, yeah, they do, and we look at it like that. So, we're going to have to prepare and get ourselves ready to play in the game. They've done it before. Their coaching staff has done it before. They have a plan and a prep. They won the game. So, we have to do a better job of figuring out how to do that.
On paper, obviously, you guys go into this game at 10-2. Fresno State is 6-6. Your thoughts on, despite the fact what coach would say on paper, you guys they've already earned, maybe your right to be the champions of the conference, still playing a conference championship game to decide it all. And also, Commissioner Thompson talked about how they chose this format for, the top team to host to give them a home field advantage because they earned it. Do you think, do you like that over a neutral site game? Obviously?
I love it right now. Yeah. Here's the one. I mean, you guys all watch college football every week, and you see all the predictions. I mean, I think we were predicted to get beat by Wyoming, right? Everybody said Wyoming's going to beat us. So, I mean, go figure. All right, you can scratch all that, especially this time of year. You can take all those things out. You're playing in a championship game. Throw the records out. You just got one game, and that's it. There's no game after immediately the next week that anybody's focused on. This is it. As far as the format goes, yeah, I think it's something that you earn throughout the year. If we were playing in the WAC right now, we'd be done, we'd win. I mean, that's just what it was. You had the best record, and that's how it worked. I don't think that helps us. I think a championship game helps us. as far as with our conference and our league and all that. So I think that's important. I think the way it's set up to have the team that's earned it to have the home field advantage, that's what they've done. That's the body of work they've put together throughout the year to be in that position. And if you're the team that's coming into there, you know what? You got a little bit more work to do because you're going to be playing away from home and all that. And you know, Fresno State had the home field advantage last year. You know, Utah State had to play there, and they earned it. You know, and this year, you know, we have the home field advantage. So as far as the way it's set up, you know, we've earned that opportunity. What does that mean? It means we get to play at home, and you know, that's the advantage you get from that standpoint. But you know, we got to show up and play, and we know we're playing a team that's already been in this game before.
Watching the offense in those first 5 drives on Saturday night looked like the old days. Everybody said it looked like the old Broncos, the old days. What was happening to make the Broncos so effective offensively in those drives?
Yeah, I mean, I know, you know, about style and all that, and I'll address that. I mean, we're different. We're different than we were. We're a different football team. You know, I think we're just doing what fits our guys the best, and they're comfortable with it, and they understand it, and they're playing better. Coach Sanford's done a great job and the offensive staff of putting it all together each and every week. You know, a little bit different theme or whatever we're doing for that week. While we were effective, you know, we took care of the football, and Jay was running effectively. And to be honest with you, I think that was probably one of the best games our O-line has played. If you just took out who the back was and who's handing the ball off and all that, and you just watched strictly O-line play, it's one of our better games since I've been here that the O-line has played against a good D-line. And to me, that's really encouraging. You know, when your O-line plays like that, you know, Jay's obviously fantastic and did a lot of great things in that game. You watch his one run by himself. You know, Travis Averill knocks 3 guys down, but Jay's off and running. Jeremy McNichols comes in, runs the ball effectively behind that O-line. Grant's, you know, he got sacked a couple times in there. But he's still, you know, for the most part, pretty clean throughout the game. You know, you talk about a lot about the O-line just playing effectively. But, you know, guys were executing, and I think when those guys up front play that way, give our quarterback and back an opportunity, we look pretty good.
Any update on Connor Peters, and if he's out, what does that cost you in the run?
Yeah, Connor will be out for this game, and hopefully we get him back, you know, for a bowl game. That'll be the next opportunity we play. As far as the run game goes, you know, I mean, we have guys, Jake Hardy, you know, Alec, those guys can all step in. Holden, Jake Rowe, you know, those guys have all played, have all done a very good job. And, you know, that's just tough because, you know, Connor's a senior, has been playing well for us. And so, you know, next man up, you know, guys are going to have to step up. And they did, you know, when Connor went out of the game, they did. But no, we won't have him this game, and hopefully we'll have him back for the bowl.
Just your thoughts, if you're disappointed that Coach Sanford was not named to finals for the Burroughs Award, and just what you thought of his you know, job this year, and especially when, as you talked about before, when the team was 3-2, how he was able to, you know, get the offense and everything turned around.
Yeah. Who was named finalist?
Lane Kiffin, Dave Steckel, Tom Herman, Scott Frost, and Doug Meacham.
Well, those guys are pretty good. Well, I think, you know, having personally an opportunity to be a part of that at one time, it's obviously, you know, that's a great event. It's nice to be recognized. There's only 5, and there's a lot of teams. So I think Coach Sanford and the offensive staff done a great job. And I think, you know, not just from our offensive output, I think, and Coach Sanford in particular, just coaching the quarterback position, you know, and what he and Grant, you know, those 2 guys working together, being on the same page, you know, that's not easy to do. You know, I think they have a great relationship. He's done a great job in that room. But, you know, like when I was a coordinator and got nominated for that as well, I mean, there's a staff around you, and you don't get nominated for it unless your team is good, bottom line. And so, you know, the offensive staff, the defensive staff, what we've done on special teams, that's why he's had an opportunity. And our numbers, you have to have some numbers in there to back it up as well, which the offense has done. But I've been very pleased with what Mike's done and what the offensive staff has done. I'm excited about where we're going this week. And I'm excited about the future, you know, being in this system and kind of understanding the nuances of it, and then taking it and expanding with new ideas and thoughts. I mean, we're still growing. I think we're in our infancy of, just offensively of what we can be, in the future as well. So, what we do this week, I think for Mike, it was great to be nominated for that. But I know for those guys in our staff, the biggest thing they want to get done is this week.
You talked about Travis Averill wiping out 3 guys on Jay's run. For Mario Yaku to the offensive lineman of the week, he must have done something special to beat out Travis. And I know Yaku had a tough stretch in October.
Yeah.
So what was it that Yaku did that really stood out?
He pass protection and really in our run game. Let me just say this: you probably could have picked all 5. It was one of those as coaches. Coach Huff's like, gosh. Travis obviously had a tremendous, block on that one particular play, and he really played well throughout the game. Mario's consistency, he's a big old dude now, and when we run certain plays and we pull him and do different things with him, he's just been very effective. He's gotten better and better. And probably because of the things that we're doing with him that maybe he didn't do as well early on that he's doing now, you see the progress that he's made. And he was about as consistent as you could play throughout the game. So he graded out the best out of those guys and what we asked him to do. So, but, Marcus Henry, Reese, all those guys, Baggett, they all played well in the game. But Mario really had a consistent game.
You were here, obviously, for the last coaching change, and there's obviously a couple parallels in terms of what you're playing for at the end of the season to that season. So how important was it that you guys achieved that in 06, and how much did it help you guys springboard that program with the new coaching staff, and how important is it that you guys are, again, in a similar position this year?
Yeah, I think it's probably similar, the staff, kind of, I guess, what we went through. Let me say that. That first year in 06, we were just trying to keep our heads above water, to be honest with you. And every week, Wilcox and I were trying not to get fired. That's kind of how we thought about it, And that was kind of the running joke between the two of us, just like, ugh, we better keep winning. He and I were both, young at the time and hadn't done it, and trying to figure it out, had a great staff around us. And we didn't really think about that. We're just trying to win games. And I think it's similar right now. I don't think any of us put stock into where we're going postseason and all that. We're just trying to figure out, all right, how do we it's a new conference for all of us, new teams we're playing. How do we figure out how to beat these teams each and every week? And we got a new challenge this week. How do you play Fresno again? What do you do against a Fresno team that's better, against a team that's been in this game before? So, the similarities are there. Now, when it's all said and done, you could ask me then, how it all plays out. But as far as where we are now, yeah, we're just trying to win, each and every week. And so we got another week to try to figure that out.
Got 2 more questions, guys, Jesse and Jeff.
I got to get 2 minutes. I'll ask 2. Kind of quietly, Tyler Gray's had a great year, and just kind of your thoughts on what he's done. And then you talk about support from the fans and tickets and things. They kind of stepped up the last 5 days for Jeremy, and just kind of want to get your thoughts on what's happened there.
Yeah. Well, Tyler Gray, number one, absolutely love the guy. He's a very good player. He's very athletic. He's long. So if you look at him physically, here's a guy that we're going to have back that we feel very good about. He's getting better, the more he plays. And been real excited just about how his production, and where he is now and where he's going to be in the future. That's the exciting part for us. And Coach Avalos done a great job with him. With Jeremy and the fund, and the college, what is it?
College Assistance Fund.
Assistance Fund that came out. Yeah, I saw that and knew about that there. But, one of the reasons, and I think, when Jeremy decided to tell his story, and he's a private guy, and we had talked about it, but he's done a lot for this program. And, he's in a position now where, it's difficult and every little bit helps. And I think it says a lot about our people, our Bronco Nation, the people in the program to step up and help him out financially, legitimately help him out financially with the money they've given. And that's everybody. That's people in this building, people outside this building, and it says a lot about just our community. And we break it down every day on family, and I think that goes beyond, just in this building here. So, I've been really appreciative for Jeremy, what people have done, and I know that's going to continue. I mean, this is the start. I really believe that. And you know what? Us having a chance to play in another game this week and another game after this just gives us more opportunity to help, with him and have him be a part of this program, number one, and then obviously his future and what he needs.
Coach, what is it about Jay that makes him so much better as the game goes longer? I mean, he was tremendous in the first half, but over the season, he just grinds and gets better.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
Well, one, I think he's a competitor. So as the moment gets bigger, he gets better. That's what elite players do. I mean, the bigger the opportunity, the better that those players are. That's why they're elite players. I also think I think our team has gotten better throughout the game too, and particularly the O-line. And so, those 3-4 yard runs where he's getting hit at 2 yards and dragging guys for 2 more. Now he's getting hit at 5 yards and he's got a full head of steam. He's already stronger. The guys in front of him are keeping guys covered up, and then he hits you at 6 yards without being touched. An arm tackle is not going to stop him. And, we've seen him lower his shoulder and strike some guys. So, to me, it's a combination. He gets better as the game gets bigger, and then the guys around him have gotten better. And that's what good players do. Good players, elite players like Jay make guys around them better and play harder. And that's what he's done. So, I mean, it's a combination of our whole team around him that's played better. But Jay's done some fantastic things this year. He's taken games over when he needs to. He's finished games out when we've asked him to. And he's grinded games out when we've had to do it. So, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, that's one guy that, if there's any award, for a player, I mean, what he's done, and I've seen the stats and all that, and, we didn't set out to do it, but he's had the ball in his hands quite a bit, and from his production standpoint, it's hard to argue there's a whole lot of other guys more productive than him in the country.
All right, thanks, Coach. Thanks, everyone.
Yep.